Hello, everybody. You're listening to the All Metal Mode podcast with your host, Amanda and Gypsy. I'm feeling a little sick, so my voice is a little messed up. No, Amanda is out tonight. She doesn't. She's not feeling real good. I didn't have a chance to talk to her, so I'm not sure quite what's going on. But I know she doesn't feel good. So Mike, I'm filling in for her tonight, and Gypsy and I always have a good time. I haven't got a chance to do an episode with Gypsy in a long time. So
yeah, it's been a while.
I was actually pretty excited. Not excited to hear Amanda's sick, but I am happy to fill in and talk with Gypsy. And yeah, I really enjoy. I miss us doing the show together. I'm sure you don't, and you don't have to lie about it, Gypsy. We won't even go there. Okay. Let's just not go there. So I'm sure you enjoy it more with Amanda, and I don't blame
Mike, you know I love you.
you. I know, I'm just kidding. And she is fun, though. I've done a couple with her, filling in while you're traveling, and she's a hoot. She's fun to do it with. I both of you are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, good times. I don't know if you know this, Gypsy, but Dirt Digest magazine is out for March as of yesterday. It is out there and live. I thought it was another great issue. There's a lot of great articles, and actually I had kind of a late submission that kind of come out of right field that was really nice. I thought we had some great articles this month, and hope you enjoy it. Make sure you check out the article about Camp One Step. That article's in there, and how to get involved if you would like to support that, and we hope you will. Contact information and all that. So make sure you check that out. Absolutely. Gypsy, do you have anything to add?
No, I'm excited to check out the new issue, and I've been falling so behind lately doing all this traveling. I haven't even written an article in forever, it seems. So hopefully I'll get an article out this month. Who knows? I might surprise you, might get two in.
I would love that. I know, I know people, everybody gets so busy and you with all your traveling and everything. So, but Mike Fuson's in, and Mike, I don't know if you caught it. She said she's going to work really hard to get us an article this month. Put it on the wall, start talking about it, tell everybody that she will, put her on, put some pressure on her, and maybe we'll get an article out of her. So, but yeah, Dirt Digest Magazine, dirtdigestmagazine.com, go check it out. It's a free online metal detecting magazine, and March just hit yesterday. So, and of course, another awesome issue, and I know because I put it together, so therefore it's awesome. Even if you don't like it, tell me you like it, because I put a lot of work into it. Always looking for advice and everything. So, but I think I do pretty good. I mean, I enjoy it. I do enjoy it, and we have some absolutely great writers and stuff, and it's a good time. It's very rewarding for me. Other than, I'll tell you, if there's one thing I don't like about it, Gypsy, is working with Mike Fuson. That guy is such a jerk. No, I love him. He makes it easy and fun. He's such a fun guy and helps me out and keeps me going, and if I need anything, he's there to help, and he does a great job about reaching out to people. Don't forget, we are always on the lookout for an article. If you got a good story, we can help you write it, proofread it for you, anything like that. We do a monthly submission of pictures. If you got a great find that's, in the last couple months, please submit it to us, and we'll get it in the magazine. And yeah, we would so appreciate that. Anything you can do to contribute, and we want it. It's the magazine's for the readers, so please, by all means. And I do give Mike a hard time, but I give Gypsy and Amanda. If I don't give you a hard time, I probably don't like you. that's really how I am, and maybe that makes me a horrible person because the harder time I give you, the more I like you. So as much of a hard time I give Mike, I must really love that guy. You know it. I must
I
love
know. You must. He
I
is a great
must.
guy.
Yes, he is.
I know a lot of great Mikes. What is it with the Mikes?
We're just
Mike is
fantastic people. Just fantastic.
My dad's name is Mike, so it's like,
There you
gotta
go.
love the Mikes.
Yep, absolutely. I was named after my uncle Mike, who was in Vietnam. I don't know much. It was never really talked about, but he come back from Vietnam and did a lot of street racing and stuff, and he totaled a car on a bridge. They thought he was going to die. He was in the hospital for months, from what I understand, and a great guy, though, still alive, so that's pretty neat. But, yeah, we're all good Mikes. You're lucky to have all of us great Mikes in your life, Gypsy. You're welcome.
Right?
You want to introduce tonight's? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and bring in our guest. I will probably botch his last name as well, but his name is Eric Danis.
Danny.
Yeah, the S. Danny. The S is silent. It's spelled Danis. Danny, and he is from Canada, and I'll let him explain the area that he lives in and all that. But him and his wife have a YouTube channel called Relic's Dirty Hands. So if you have not checked that out, I'm sure someone will be kind enough to put a link in the chat tonight. But be sure and check their channel out. But without further ado, hi, Eric. You
Hi.
still with us?
I sure am.
Welcome.
I'm thrilled to be on the
Awesome.
show tonight. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for agreeing kind of last minute. I know we had also asked Lori, your wife, to possibly be our guest tonight, and I know she's got a bit of a cold, and then it sounds like you've got just a little bit of cold coming in.
That's right. She got it before I did, and I'm just starting. But I don't think it's going to be that bad. I usually do fairly well with the colds.
Well, we appreciate you being here. Glad you're doing well enough to be with us tonight, and I'm sad for those of you that are just joining us. But Amanda Digger to God, she will not be with us tonight. Mike will be filling in for her tonight, and just be sure also those of you join Mike and Dorian tomorrow night, same time, same bat channel. We'll be mentioning it again. Mike, what is y'all's topic for tomorrow night?
Oh, I am in the middle of posting on Facebook. We have a guest, Corey Rind. We're having Corey Rind on tomorrow night. He's a big Civil War detectorist, relic hunter, and I don't know. I mean, I know of him, and I've seen some of his posts, but I hear wonderful things, absolutely wonderful things.
Wonderful.
So yeah, he will be on tomorrow night with us.
So y'all be sure and join Mike and Dorian and their special guest tomorrow night. And but we're just glad to have Eric. Eric, go ahead and just tell us a little bit about yourself to start out with, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah, I hunt with my wife Lori, and we have a few other members in our crew, Relic Dirty Hands, which is our YouTube channel. There's Matt Thompson, TJ Martel. You'll see Andre Girard as well on a lot of our videos. And we're from, I'm from Quebec, Canada, and Matt's from Ontario. So we hunt, I guess you could say, Eastern Ontario, Western Quebec area. And we've been detecting, I've been detecting with Lori for about 10 years now. And I never thought the hobby would bring us where we are today, and I'd be so passionate about it. But here we are 10 years later. And the YouTube channel we've had since 2013.
Wow.
So it's 7 years on YouTube and about 10 years detecting now. Yeah.
That's amazing. So if you don't mind, kind of what got y'all interested in metal detecting, or kind of got you started, or how did that come about?
Well, I don't know. I've always liked history and antiques. I grew up at my grandparents' pretty much in the basement, looking at my grandpa's old stuff, and my grandpa telling me stories of the old days, and I was just fascinated with the history and how they used to live, and I like to collect antiques and that kind of stuff. And really, metal detecting for me came, I guess, through Lori. She initially got the initial bug, I guess, to try it out. And I also met a friend at work that a guy we hired that metal detected. And he talked to me about detecting, and I guess that's kind of how we got into the subject of it. And Lori said, you know what, let's get one. Let's get a detector. So I would say about 10 years ago, we went ahead and purchased our first used metal detector. We got it on Kijiji. And
whoa, hold on. It was I'm sorry, you got it on what?
Off of Kijiji.
What's Kijiji?
Which is okay. Well, there we go. It's a place online where you can buy, people sell used stuff.
Huh.
So
never heard of that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't
I
either.
guess it's a Canadian thing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Very cool.
So yeah, we purchased this used detector. It was a Garrett GTAX 550, the green machine.
Yeah.
And that's how we started.
Very cool. I just gotta butt in real quick because I gotta say this. My wife is from northern Minnesota, and she gets so aggravated when I call her Canadian. And she's like, I'm not Canadian. I'm like, but northern Minnesota, you might as well be Canadian. I mean, yeah, you are Canadian, Yeah, but she's like, no, I went to talk to a lot of Canadians, and she eats like Canadian food. Like in northern Minnesota, it really is like Canada. I mean, like I had never heard of.
It is, right?
I'm trying to think of what it is. I Putang? God, I hope I didn't mess that up.
Yeah, Putin.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that. She's like, it's a northern Minnesota thing. And I look it up and I'm like, no, it's a Canadian thing. So
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah, it's a Quebec thing.
Yeah, we're 10 years apart. And I say the reason we mesh so good is because in northern Minnesota, you were 10 years behind. The math doesn't even add up. Let's just keep going. I'm sorry. I interrupted the show.
That's funny. We actually have one kind of question or request from our chat tonight. Bill, Ohio Relic Hunter, says to ask about the display table you built. The fish, he says, fishy coins, fish scales.
Yes. Wow, that was a while ago.
Okay. Tell us
Yeah,
about
that's
that,
cool.
if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, we made a video on it. It's on our channel. We kind of, I guess, we had purchased these three tables. They all kind of slide into each other. One's slightly smaller than the next, and they fit into each other. there was actually an antique set of tables with a glass top. And we were looking at that thinking, you know what, that would be a great way to display our finds somehow. So we modified them. And essentially what I ended up doing, it was just a wood bottom with a glass on top. There was a piece of, I don't know if it was leather or some type of fabric. I took that off, and I just took spade bits with the drill, took the right size for the coins, and I just drilled into it just the thickness of the coins so they could set in recessed in the wood, and then I put the glass back on top. It's a great way to display some coins, and you can still use it as a coffee table. We actually ended up, the bottom one was a deeper base, so I made a bottom on it. And this one is, I can put like larger relics in there. Like I have a bunch of crotal bells in there and stuff like that right now. And I had put little LED lights inside of it. So it's really cool. It's a nice showpiece. It's used as tables, and I can also use it as a nightlight. So in the hallway, you know.
How neat is that? I like that.
Yeah.
So you said you have that on your channel, a video of what that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that video. There's a. I guess if you do a search for, or you look on our channel, just like trying to think here, it was probably 2-3 years ago that we did that.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. I like the idea of the light being in there as well. The LED lights.
Well, you know how it is. It becomes overwhelming. You get at one point you have too many relics and too much stuff, and you want to display them, and you don't know where and how, and you don't want to put them just in boxes either. So you got to get creative.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So let's go back. You said 10 years ago, and when you and Lori got your first metal detector, and you started out with the Garrett. What was it?
Yeah, the Garrett, the G, what was it? The GTA X550, something around those. Maybe I'm mistaken. Something like that. The green machine. It was probably a unit from the, I don't know, early 90s, something like that, maybe.
Yep, I think you got all that right, but I do get confused by them as well. But I think that's right. The GTA X550, that sure sounds familiar.
Right.
Yeah. I'll have to look.
It was.
George is in the chat. He said GTA 550. So. Yeah.
We still have that unit. It's at my cousin's farm. We lent it to my cousin.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
So they're using
what is one of your favorite finds that y'all found with that machine when you were just getting started?
We got really excited when we found our first large scent.
Oh, cool.
And that was, yeah. So the first large scent we found quite a few with that unit, actually, at Laurie's grandparents' farm. And that's actually the large scents with the machines are what got me going, you know. And then it was like, oh, wow, this is so cool. I've never seen one of these before. And, I guess at that point, I started wanting to go out and finding old coins and stuff. Before that, it was mostly Lori that was going out with the detector. And she had found some gold rings and stuff at the beach. She went with her niece, our niece, that I wasn't even that interested at the time, actually, to be honest. I was interested in the hobby. The first time I went with her, it was cold and rainy, and it was all garbage, pull tabs and foils and bottle caps. And I was like, what are we doing here, sniffling, on the cold beach. I waited in the car. Lori continued. She was already hooked. And then probably the following spring is when I started metal detecting with her.
Very cool. So, once you dig those first things that really get you going, like you said, the large scent.
It was the large scent, yeah.
That that you know, those things that you don't even know that are made. I mean, that's what's so fun about this hobby. When you dig up something that you don't really know or you've never seen before, and it makes, you
I 100% agree with that. Yeah, when you find something, I mean, it's like the best find to come is the find that I don't even know exists, right? It's often that. So.
Hey, now your large scents, what are those? Can you explain that to us Americans?
Yes, absolutely. Like, so we didn't start minting our money here in Canada till 1858 was the first year we put out our large cents.
Okay.
And so I think you guys minted your money. It was started in the late 1700s, I guess.
Yes.
That's the States made. Yeah. So we actually kind of had a shortage of money here. We were using British coins and all that. At a certain point, banks were allowed to make bank tokens.
Okay.
We had a shortage of money. So that's why what you'll see in our hunts and if you're looking at Canadian content, one difference that you're going to see is we're going to have a lot of these bank tokens, which date mostly from like early 1800s to 1850s until Canada started making money. And then eventually all those tokens, and I think they were you could use them, I think, until the 1870s or 1880s, something like that. But so we had a shortage. We had bank tokens. We had the Bank of Montreal. We had different banks, and they were producing these tokens.
Yeah,
very cool.
So our large cents, it's 1858 to 1921 is when we went to the small cent.
Okay. I thought the earliest ones were bank tokens. I thought those,
Well, they're Canadian bank tokens, Lower Canada, Upper Canada bank tokens.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Now, I'm from Ohio, which is a border state. And now and then we'll find those in Ohio. Do you ever find earlier American coins like our large cents or anything up there?
Yes, I do actually.
Very cool.
I don't find them very often, but absolutely. I mean, I find a lot of Wheaties, but I have found American large cents. Found an American half cent.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
I found a seeded $50, cap plus dime, seeded dime, a couple of barber quarters.
Oh wow!
I think what I'm missing now. I found a what was it, last year or the year before? I found a Washington quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never found a Mercury dime yet. I have never found a Mercury dime.
Oh,
so that's
wow.
on my bucket list item of mine as far as American silver coinage goes.
I'll tell you what's funny. I would say here in the United States, one of the harder denominations to find are seeded. Of course, when you get even older, they can get hard, but seeded are pretty tough. And that's funny to me that you found. Didn't you say you found a couple seeded coins?
Yes.
Yeah, that Mercury dime will come along. It'll come. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hope so.
It will.
I tend to hunt older property. I'm looking for older coinage, but you'd expect to get a Mercury dime after 10 years of metal detecting.
Yeah, especially
everybody
with all
around me is finding Mercury dimes all the time. I see posts like full of Mercury dimes. Never found one of those.
Oh, we all have that more common coin that eludes us.
I know it.
For example, I'll give you a really good one. In Ohio, I have found tons of large cents. I have yet to find a half cent. Now, they were a lot more rare than the large cents, but on a handful of occasions I've been relic hunting right next to somebody that pulls a half cent, and it's gotten to the point now. It's like I tell people, you find a half cent, and we're just going to fist fight. Whoever wins gets that half cent, because I'm just like, they've eluded me, and gosh, I want a half cent so bad. But that's really that's awesome. That's really surprising to me. I was
thrilled to find that coin, and again, like Gypsy was mentioning, I didn't even know that coin existed. Really, like I didn't know what I had found when I found it. Right. So obviously once I cleaned it off, I could read it. It was an American half cent, but I didn't even know they existed. I wasn't familiar with them. But I quickly found out that was a really good score. But I'm happy with that coin. It's one of my favorites.
That's cool. Did it clean up decent?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it cleaned up nice.
Really, that's awesome.
I quickly put a couple of coins together to put on the banner or your publicity, and I put a few American coins on there just for you, and I put the half cent. I think it's in the top left corner or something.
Oh, great! I'll have to check that out.
Now, was that a seeded coin I saw? Did you find a seeded? There was a silver large coin, and I didn't really have time to look at it.
Yeah, it's the seeded $50 that I put on there.
Wow.
And the cap bus
That's
time.
beautiful.
And the half cent. Yeah. Thank you.
So, what machine did you find that with? I know you said you still have that Garrett machine, but we all know that 10 years you've kind of changed and upgraded, and I know y'all probably don't share the machine anymore.
No, we have our own machines now. We hunted for a few years sharing a machine, so we actually enjoyed it.
Really?
And yeah. But I found it with my White's MXT Pro.
Very cool.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I pretty much after the Garrett, the green machine, I went to the White's MXT Pro, and I hunted with it until, I guess I'm still hunting with it once in a while. I was only hunting with that for like 7 years. So most of all of my finds are all with the White's MXT Pro. The last few years, I've been hunting also with the Mine Lab Safari and the Lori's sometimes when she lends it to me, her Equinox.
When she lends it to me. Oh, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. I know how that goes. No, I get that. We don't even have to go there. When she lends it to me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's one White's machine that I would that I want to put in my collection and keep. And I'll be honest with you, I've never used one, but that MXT, boy, that thing is legendary.
The MXT Pro is such an awesome detector. It's easy to use. It's a simple machine, but it does the job. I've had tremendous success with it over the years that I've used it, and I prefer it as far as if I'm going for relics. I just know it so well too. I guess I hunted for enough years with it, but when it comes to relic hunting and stuff like that, I love it.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the Tesoros for simplicity when I'm relic hunting. And I was in Ohio for a few months where I do most of my relic hunting back this fall and into winter. And I had, not only did I take quite a few detectors and got my hands on quite a few, I had several analog detectors, and I'll tell you, the Tesoros, man, they're so easy. They're lightweight. They're simple. Get the job done. I really like that. I got the opportunity to use a Nautilus, and I'll tell you what, that is one complicated machine at first until you get it. Because you got to tune the coil, and then before you even ground balance or anything, you got to tune that coil and stuff. But I'll tell you what, that thing is a beast. It is a relic hunting beast. Very impressed with that. But my Tesoro, I pick it up, I turn it on. Matter of fact, I've got several Tesoros, but I took my simplest one to Ohio with me, which is the Mojave. And you literally turn it on and go, and I'll tell you that Nautilus was a beast, but you got to, like I said, you got to tune the coil, and then you got to keep retuning the coil and stuff, and it's a heavy detector, and boy, was it neat. But the Tesoro is a fraction of the weight, turn on and go. And it'll just get it done for what I need. So I love simple, and I hear. I'm sorry, I'll bring it back around. I've heard just wonderful things about the MXT. Was it the All Pro? I believe is what they call it, the All Pro. Yeah. But even the old MXTs,
they call it the All Pro now. Mine is an older. It was before the All. It was just the Pro. They called it. Right? Mm-hmm. I think at one point they switched it over to All Pro. Forget what was the difference. I don't even know if there was one. But.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think at one point they changed the coil up or something, if I remember right.
Maybe that was it, because mine didn't come with the double D, and I think the All Pro came with the double D coil. Something like that. That would make sense.
Yeah, George said a coil change. I thought it was just a coil change, but I've had diehard whites people. I would say 4 or 5 over the years tell me that MXT is, in their mind, the best detector whites ever came out with. I'm not saying I believe that. I don't know enough about whites, but I've heard several people tell me that, and it's one of those that I want to someday pick one up, and even if I don't use it a bunch, put it away. But because, boy, it's kind of a legend.
Yeah. Well, I got the opportunity to try the MX Sport and the V3i, and I went back to my MXT Pro.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love my Pro, and I don't know, the sounds. You can hear these subtleties, I think, that you don't get with the digital sound, like the chime sound. I don't know, it's different.
I believe that's an analog, if I'm not mistaken. Well, it's kind of a hybrid because it's analog and digital. But because it's it does have knobs and stuff on it, which makes it analog. But I don't think it's a true.
But I don't know that it screeches, it squeals, it scratches, it does all these weird things, and it's I don't know. I like it.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about it is you can't adjust the volume, on the detector. So that's a little annoying. But besides that, I like it.
Well, get you a set of headphones where you can adjust the volume.
Oh, I do. I have a headphone, and
there you go.
It, but it's just, if I take it off, the thing's screaming, right?
Yeah. I don't ever detect without headphones, so that wouldn't be a problem with me. I can go without a pinpointer if I leave, a pinpointer at home, but without headphones, it's like I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know. I can't do it without headphones. I can, but I'm not comfortable. I don't like the sounds I'm hearing versus when it throws me off. I will not have as good a hunt.
Yeah. I always have my headphones, but I always have one ear on, one ear off. And, it's just a habit now. I rarely detect with both of the ears on. I don't know why. I think it started with the kids, being with the kids. We used, me and my wife, I guess I didn't mention that, but we used to metal detect and bring our kids with us all the time, our young ones.
Oh, cool.
So we would bring them, and that's probably why we only shared one detector too, because, you know, we were entertaining the kids and playing with them at the same time. One of us was detecting, the other one was playing with the kids. So I guess the habit of just having one ear up, being able to listen to Lori if she calls me or if the kids are calling me or something. And I just got used to it that way, and now I always hunt that way, no matter what. Even if I'm alone, I think in the bush now, I got the one ear in case I hear somebody in the back. Or, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I kind of have to know what's going on around me as well. But that's one reason why I do like what you said. I love having the volume control on the detector, because most headphones come with the volume control now, but having it on the detector where you can crank it all the way up, because you want to be listening for those very soft, deep targets.
Right.
That is a really something that I prefer to have with my machines as well. So I'm not missing any of those really deep targets, especially if I'm, got one of my headphones kind of to the side so I can hear more.
Right.
One of the ears. So now we know kind of how you progressed through some of the other machines from what you started from the 10 years, that you've been digging. Is there a special find, a dream find that you would like to find? Maybe others in your area have found them, and maybe it's on, some people call it bucket list, dream find. Is there something that you'd really like to find maybe this year or soon, or hope to find?
Yeah, well, other than my Mercury Dime, I think
I forgot about that.
I'd love to find a gold coin. I think it's a bit of a cliche there. Every metal detector wants to find a gold coin, but I've never found a gold coin. I'd love to find a gold coin. I've never found a silver dollar yet. I found the 50 cent, like the $50, but not a dollar. So I'd love to find that. As far as the coins go, and I'm sure there's coins that I don't even know that are out there that I'd love to find. But yeah, that it's hard. It's a hard question. I don't know. Besides that, any really cool relics that I don't know what they are yet that I haven't found.
Hey, Eric, have you gotten into any of the fur trade relic hunting, or have you hunted any sites down or anything that had that really interests me?
Yes. That's mostly what I have in my area here.
Oh, nice.
When you go back, anything prior to like 1800, you're in the fur trade. Actually, the fur trade here was, I guess, up to the 1830s. So it overlapped with the settlement, and in my area there was a lot of logging that started in the early 1800s. So, and that's kind of when the fur trade started going down. The logging industry was booming, and fur trade was down, and eventually the rivers were just used to float the wood. All the lumber was floating on the rivers. So by 1840, there was no more fur trademen going up the river and traveling.
I gotcha.
Yeah, it was mostly fur trade here. The first settler here was in 1800, and when he arrived, there was a small lake, probably 3 kilometers from where he settled, and the natives were living there off the land. There was, in his journal, there was like 5 or 6 teepees on the lake, and they would come and visit them. And it was a very interesting read. And the fur trade was happening here, like from, I guess, the mid 1600s right up to 1830s. So it's kind of an elusive thing to find. I mean, they had their roots, right? There was fur trade posts, far and few in between, right? And I mean, they camped along the river. They used the waterways were their main way of transportation, obviously. So it's not an easy thing to find, and a lot of it is, I mean, throughout America, I guess, is deemed historical. If you're looking at fur trade posts and areas like that, so it's hard to find something, and most of it is found through like fluke, right? You're metal detecting the land by the water, and you find something from the trade era.
Hey,
and,
Eric. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm sure you're on Facebook, correct?
Yes.
Are you a member of the group Doug Fur Trade and Contact Period Relics?
I am, actually.
Okay, yeah, that's one of my favorites. I'll tell you, a while back I went through and purged a bunch of groups, and that's one that I stuck with. I love seeing some of that. George wanted me to ask if you found any Phoenix buttons or Jesuit medallions.
No Jesuit medallions. I did find trade silver.
Nice.
I guess one of my favorite finds was a spill of trade silver. So there was there was like a ring brooch, a Claudia ring, and another plain silver band. And there was like six bobs, like earrings. Mm-hmm. And it was all in the same hole. I guess it was maybe in a pouch that rotted away or something. So that was probably my favorite find from the fur trade. But we found quite a few things. I do have a nice permission that has a lot of items from the trade era. Actually, our last video we put out, we had gone there. So it's elusive, but it's out there, and we have found some. I found a nice axe head in the fall, and we went there on a hunch. Lori was looking at Google Earth and looking at some satellite images, and she was like, we should try to hit this area here, and there's nice farm fields and whatnot. And so we went there, and I have permissions that I didn't even get to try and hit before the snow came. They hadn't cut the corn yet, so we haven't even hit them yet. But I found a nice trade axe that dates. Somebody came back to me about 1640s. They said.
Wow.
Wow.
Very cool.
And I just love those finds. Like especially this is my second Biscay trade axe. So it comes from France, and I guess not too far from where my and close to the era from when my ancestor came to America. So I don't know. It's kind of a cool feeling knowing that they were almost on the same ship coming over.
Yeah,
right. And that's what's so interesting, about the few things that, like you were talking about, the fur trade tokens and the act. I bet you've dug a lot of stuff that has connected to history there that you didn't know about. Do you have any kind of special things that you found that you've learned a lot about the history of the areas you live in, or anything like items like that stories you could share with us?
Absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of the finds, made me do the research. Especially at the beginning. Right. I think, when you're starting and you're detecting an area, of interest in like my local area where I am, and you find something, and it's like, what is this? Then you start doing research and you get an ID on it, and it's like, well, what was that doing there? And then next thing you know, you're reading these old journals and stories, and you're learning about your local history. And I mean, now I think around here I know so much. I've read so much about the history in the last 10 years. Now it's the other way around. It's like, okay, I want to go there if I want to find this stuff, But yeah, there's so many things. One of the first things I think I found that would relate to that, I found a really nice with at the maker's mark on it. It's a picaroon. So it's like I guess, and it's got a round eye on it. I guess it was an early logging tool, mostly from the early 1800s. So, that got me into, starting to do research on the logging and finding out about here, when it started and the history and all that kind of stuff. And then once you start reading that, then it's like, other doors open and other areas of interest suddenly appear. And then next thing you know, you're driving around and looking around and trying to find where and how and who owns this and how do I get there?
Right.
Yeah, I've learned a lot of history through metal detecting and my finds over the years. I think it's hard not to,
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. It's a great hobby. I mean, like I said, I've always loved the history. So for me, this hobby is just like the perfect hobby. I get to go out, enjoy the fresh air, and, learn about history and recover, items. It's great.
Yeah, I'm the same. Even in school, I remember my freshman year of high school, I had an Ohio history class, and I loved that. I mean, that was, I'm not proud of it, but by the time I hit high school, I went to high school to, socialize. That's what I did in high school, but I would sit there in Ohio history class and just tune in, and that's what got me into this hobby is history, and boy, do you really learn it through research and then finding stuff. And I couldn't tell you how many things I found that I just had no clue what it was, and research, told me a story.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny how you retain so much more when you find something and you research it yourself than, somebody giving a class.
Right. I don't want to get off topic, but as you were talking, I was just thinking that we're doing the podcast tonight, and, luckily you have me, a fellow man, on here to kind of help out, because the girls would probably tear you apart. But what the scary part is, they're gonna get your wife on the show sometime, and it's gonna be the three of them.
Oh boy!
If I were you, I would just go out that night, go sit at the bar for a couple hours. If I were you, that's the plan I would have. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know that's off subject, but that was just in my mind, like, oh, this poor guy, poor Eric. Mm-hmm. So Canada, man, that is so cool. Somebody in the room, I don't know if we got back to it. You were in the middle of talking. Somebody didn't catch what part of Canada you're from.
Yeah, I'm near Ottawa, so I'm on the Quebec border, I guess, from Ontario. So that would be, Western Quebec.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you sound like a pretty hardcore detectorist. You get as your wife is hardcore. Does she like to get out as much as you, or has it kind of changed? It sounds like she was really hot into it in the beginning, or is she still crazy about it?
She's still hardcore.
Is she? That's
She's
awesome.
More hardcore than ever.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
You get to share that. I usually, Steph will go out with me, but it's usually like, she's not real into it, but she will. She'll go out with me and stuff. But
Yeah.
But y'all
I
got a
get a
little
little bit of
one, so it's harder.
yeah. I get a little bit of kick out of it though, because people. It's like, you want to go detect? Oh, I got chores to do, and my wife, and I don't know if I can go.
yeah,
And for me, it's like, hey, babe, you want to go detecting? Yeah, the grass can wait, Let's
that's
go
awesome.
detecting. It's like, yeah, right on.
When you're on the phone asking a buddy if they want to go detecting and they're making excuses, is your wife in the background calling them a sissy and stuff?
I don't know about that. I don't know. Sometimes, well, now that the kids are older, but it actually it can become a problem, because what if only one of us can go hunting, and we both want to go. Oh, you never thought of that one, eh?
Oh, that's funny.
So so it has its pros and cons, but it's all good. Now we each have our detectors, and the kids are old enough they can stay home, and we can go detecting. So
has there ever
don't have to flip a coin anymore?
Was there a time when it was like that?
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. We've had some heated arguments over who was going to go metal detect and who was going to stay home.
Did you ever win a single one? Be honest.
Maybe a few. I won a few.
Okay.
She let me win a few. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That was sweet of her.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, hold on. I just got all tangled up with my headphones. So Canada, boy, that is really interesting and something I would love to explore. Something else I've always wondered. In Canada, have you ever found anything from the Civil War? Because, our history talks about a lot, or not, I guess there wasn't a lot, but there was some, some Confederates up there, and from my understanding, some that fled to Canada after. I don't think it was many, but do you know of any, or has any ever come up?
I personally haven't found any, but I have seen, I believe, in the past, some posts of some people in Canada finding some of that, and questioning it, how it got there and stuff. But for me, no. Personally, no.
I was just curious.
There's not a lot of war at battle sites or much like military encampments around my area, per se. As you get closer to the St. Lawrence, yes. But up where I am, not as much.
I gotcha. Now, Bill, Bill's kind of, I think, making a joke, but I think it's a great question. Do you and Lori have separate relic rooms, or do you share one, or how does that work? Like,
for a relic room?
Yeah. Do you store your relics together, or do you separate them, or?
No, we put them all together.
Okay.
Everything is together. We actually have, some of the stuff has been sorted by site. Some stuff is sorted by category. But essentially all our stuff is all put together, and we just know like what I found and what she found.
Yeah. Now, is there anything that she's found that you're jealous of, and vice versa? I don't mean you know what I mean.
I'm jealous of her colonial shoe buckle she found.
Ooh.
Because I haven't found one yet. I found a knee buckle last year, but hers has the I don't know how you call that, but the pieces in the middle are still in it.
Oh wow!
So I'm a little jealous about that. She found that. But just this year in January, we went out for a hunt, and she just blew it out. She found like a crazy coin that she found that's fairly rare, and a really nice military shackle plate. That's from the West Indies, from the slave trade.
Oh wow!
Which is just pretty. Yeah, it's amazing find. So yeah, I there's definitely stuff that she's found that, even going back, she was the first one to find the large cent that got me all pumped up.
Funny.
Do you feel like one of you is always chasing the other? Like I've had people. We have a little bit of this competition thing going on. Sometimes we get a little competitive, and we tease each other a little bit. But it's always just fun. Nothing serious. But we have a lot of fun with that. Oh, that's great. That's great. Now, is there anything that you found that's eluded her that she's a little bit jealous about or anything?
Probably the trade silver.
Yeah, I bet. What a heck of a find.
Yeah, I think she'd like to find a piece of trade silver, just one piece.
Right.
But and I found a spill of it, right? And then I found two other pieces after. So I'm starting to have a little collection. I better be careful of what I say, after the show.
Right.
She's just in the room right next to me.
You'll be in the doghouse, too.
Yeah.
So, Eric, I know you've been, detective long enough. You probably have more than one of these type of stories, but is there something maybe you have found that was just really strange, or maybe just something really strange happened to you while you were out detecting? Any kind of stories like that that you could share with us?
Something strange. Let's
strange,
see.
Odd, spooky, weird. I don't know.
Well, we've had a few weird things happen while we were out metal detecting. Once we got chased by a bear.
Oh, yikes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, we don't have many bears here in Texas, so that's pretty strange.
So, we got escorted back to our vehicle. And we cooperated. Yeah. And
so were y'all scared, screaming, or just
no? Well, you don't want to trigger the predator prey thing when you're confronting with a bear. Last thing you want to do is scream and start running, because you're now you're the prey, and you're like, okay, I'm supposed to run after that. So, we kind of backed up slowly, walking, and kind of hid it from the kids because we had the kids with us. But the thing was growling and snarling. And at one point, I told, Lori was trying to get the kids to move, and I was like, and she was like, Maddie had like burrs stuck to him, and he was stopping, and he was trying to get the burrs off, and I'm taking his sweet time, and suddenly I just like, okay, that's enough. There's a bear. Let's get out of here. Kids like, they were all like little soldiers walking, marching to the vehicle, no questions, and you could hear this. It was lipping, it was upset.
Was it cubs?
Yeah.
Did it have cubs near, or what? Because bears are usually.
I think it probably did. I mean, it was so dense. The foliage, it was hard to see through, but we could hear him like literally like 30 feet away, 20, 30 feet away.
Oh my goodness. I can't imagine. You know what? Look, we will tell what we'll do when you get off here. Tell Lori there was technical difficulties. We didn't get to do the show, so she doesn't listen. At any point, did you think about throwing her down and running back to the car with the kids? Did that ever cross your mind?
You know what? I always tease her with that. I don't have to run faster than a bear. I just have to run faster than you. But no, I actually, when it came down to it, they were all behind me. I was walking backwards with my digger in my hand, and they were behind me, and I was like just, following them, not even looking. It's kind of like even when I talk about it today, it's kind of like a blur in a dream. I don't know. I think the adrenaline was so intense, and my heart was racing. All I remember is, it's kind of fuzzy, but I remember just backing up, walking. They were behind me, walking along, and I was just like waiting for this bear to charge or something, right? So
I can't imagine. Yeah, I can't imagine how scary, especially with your family with you. That had to
the
really,
worst thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really had to add.
I mean, if I was just me in the bush, I'll be scary, but you then it's like your wife and your kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and the worst part is, once we got into the car, we just started like laughing so loud, just out of control laughter, right? We had so much emotion. It was either we were going to cry or laugh, right? So we just laughed.
Oh, wow. I can't imagine.
Yeah, we were like, we had the shakes, we got back home, we talked about it, and we were under the shock for probably hours after.
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I know I made jokes about it. I have to, but I can't imagine. And I'm sure we can't help it. It's in our DNA. I'm sure you were thinking, well, if somebody's going to have to fight this bear off, it's me. I just can't imagine. So, Steph would have no problem pushing me down and running with the kids, and I would be okay with it. I'd be kind of mad she pushed me down, though, threw me off balance. That's when the bear would come attack me. But I would get it. I would understand.
But, see, Lori's in the chat now, and Mike trying to throw you under the bus and get you in the dog. So you better behave, Mike.
Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. Lori, he has said nothing but good things about you. He's really, I've really tried to pull it out of him, and he just won't. He won't throw you under the bus for anything. So you got a good man. I put him through the test for you. Put him through it. Another question I had, and I know it's kind of funny, but it's honest. I mean it. You said, there was a point where you, when you were dealing with the kids more, and one of you would have to, only one of you could go out. At any point where one of you couldn't make it, did the other one find something like really amazing? Because that would hurt. That would definitely hurt.
Well, I think it was one of those times when I found the $50, the seated $50, and I came back home with that. And Lori was like, "Oh,
oh, I can only imagine."
But that was one of those instances. She's like, "Okay, you go ahead, hon, you go ahead and rattle the tide. I'll stay home with the kids today, Okay, I'll just go for a few hours, just here close by a spot." And then I come home with that, right?
Wow. Lori, I take all that back I said about him, because if he was a good husband, he wouldn't have told you he found that, and he would have buried that in front of you the next time you guys went out. I'm just saying. No, I'm sure that, boy, I bet that was hard. Now, has she ever found anything really awesome while you were home with the kids?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It hurt. I'm sure it hurt a little bit, didn't it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
But, on my defense, when I guess when we started making our YouTube videos in 2013, we started off making our videos because we had located this awesome site. It was an old Victorian picnic grove. It's a virgin site, never been hit, lost in the forest. And we had been looking for it. We had read about it in this the historical societies, stories and stuff. And one day I was out on this solo hunt with Lori was at home with the kids, and I finally we were just beside it the time before. We were like just so close to finding this little patch in the forest, and I hit it. You know, I got a coin, and then like 5 feet over, I got another one, and it was all like these Victorian coins, large cent, Victorian silvers, like 5 in a row, within like 5 feet away from each other. And I was like, boom! I hit it. You know, so I called her up and I sent her the pictures, and I say, hey, I just found it. I found the Victorian picnic grove we've been looking for. This is crazy. It's like coin after coin. So I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to come back home, and we'll come back together.
That was
so I was just into my hunt. Do you know how hard it was to stop?
I can only imagine.
You know, it's like, wow, you know, and we had to wait the whole week for the weekend to go back. So I spent the whole week just like dreaming of that place. And finally the Saturday morning came, and we got there. And at first Lori, she started detecting, and she's like, she did like, you know, I don't know, maybe 10 feet, and not a signal. And she looks at me like, right, sure, I think you found it all. This must have been just a fill or something, you know? And then she got one, and then another one, and another one. And then we had the one detector, so we were taking turns. It was like every three coins, and we switched the detector, and that's how intense it was there.
I wonder if you saved your marriage by going home and picking her up. I bet you did.
I scored a lot of points that day. Right. I still hear about it sometimes.
Right. That is awesome.
Yeah. And to kick it off, y'all were sharing a detector. My gosh.
Yeah.
That just took some patience there as well.
That's true. Yeah. That's true love. I mean, you know, if Lori would ever question remember that time I came back home and picked you up, and you know, that's, I mean, you always have that to fall back on. Always.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah. That is great. So we covered, I think,
cool.
You know, a lot of some cool finds, absolutely cool finds. Now, you guys have a Facebook group as well, right?
Yes, we do. Relic Dirty Hands and Friends.
Awesome. And of course, don't forget YouTube. Was there anything else you wanted to mention or bring up? And if you got stories, keep going. I mean, I'm just trying to make sure we've covered everything here.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, we got our Facebook group, Relic Dirty Hands and Friends. We got our YouTube channel, Relic Dirty Hands. I think Lori started an Instagram a little while ago. I'm not on, or I think I installed the app, but I haven't done anything with Instagram yet. I haven't ever posted anything, but I think Lori started using Instagram too. So, should be on Instagram.
We'll have to check that out as well.
I'm sorry,
check it out.
I'm busy signing up for your group, and I'm done. So, yeah, check him out. We just, Ambient Girl, I don't know, what's her first name, Gypsy?
Ambient Girl is Nancy.
Nancy.
And Dee just asked, wanted us to mention about some of your finds that you found, or, let's see, Pound the Ground. Now, I got to meet Lori, but I don't think I got to talk to you while I was at Pound the Ground this last year. But
right.
Did y'all find any goodies?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I mean, that first day was just epic.
Really?
We hit the fields that morning, and I think within like 5 minutes, everybody found something.
Wow.
Wow.
We went like we were with the whole crew. I was with Lori. We had Matt, TJ, Andre, Perry was there. So we were a little gang of us. And I found one of my first signals that I dug was a 1723 Woods Hibernia. I didn't even know what that was. I was just like, oh, that's different. I was looking at it. There was a bit of detail. And it was actually, oh shoot, I'm so bad with names. Miss Detectorist and Riley Brent. That we met up on a corner of a field, and they ID'd the coin for me because I had no idea what I had. And they're like, and he looked at it and you could see the date, and he showed me where the date was. We cleaned it up a bit, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's like the oldest dated copper I've ever found. That has a legible date on it. That could see it and tell what it is. So 1723. Yeah, absolutely. And I also found a really nice military button, regiment button.
Was it Red War? Oh, really?
Yeah, it said red, something with a cannon on it. Very worn, though. It was worn.
Oh, wow. The one with the cannon, huh? I love that button. And
it was really nice. I found.
Is that one
pewter
or lead?
I would guess maybe pewter. I don't know. I thought it was
it's pewter.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's very thin.
I'm thinking it's pewter. That's why it doesn't. A lot of them don't hold up as well, if I remember correctly.
It's in bad shape. Yeah, I found a nice U.S. large seated dime. Some nice stuff there.
That's great.
You found a U.S. largie? Oh, I'm so jealous. That's my white whale.
Gypsy's in Texas, though. I mean, I'm sure there's been some found here, but not many. Sometimes it's location. Sometimes it's more about the location and stuff. But Gypsy, I think I would have to say from what I know of Texas detectors, you are one of the most successful I've seen. And I think you have some fantastic finds. We just need to get you back east where them large scents are just popping out of the ground. They're almost sprouting up in the spring.
Go to Ohio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do.
Was the Texas area settled later, or is there some later history there?
Yeah,
I guess earlier.
A little bit later. You tend to find more of the silver for some reason in this region than you do the large scents. I'm really not sure why that is, but a lot of it was settled after the Civil War. There are certain areas that were settled before, but we don't have any of the 1700 sites here, anything like that. So
it's kind of like in Canada too, like out west. I think it was later settled later.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Wild West was undiscovered. They were arriving with the train tracks, and discovering the Wild West, and there was just not as much, I guess. It was all later. So it's harder out there to find the old coins. It's very rare. You'll find a 1700s coin in BC. It's even hard apparently to find large cents and stuff like that. So whereas out east, it was, out here it was from the 1600s, right? So it must be like that for you, a bit in Texas where settlement was later.
Yeah, definitely. You know what was weird? My favorite find that I found while I went to Pound was right before Pound the Ground. I went hunting with some of the Garrett crew, and we went to this field, and I found a Canadian dime, silver dime.
Nice.
So that was interesting.
I remember at Pound the Ground, Lori, we traveled to to see you guys in the States, and she's all excited about finding American coins. And the first coin she found out there was a Canadian penny.
Oh, really?
She was so disappointed.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, do y'all have any big plans for any big upcoming hunts this year that y'all are planning on trying to make it to?
We are going to Digstock.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I guess it's at the same location as Pound of Ground was last year. So it's convenient for us. It's not a long drive, so it's only like 3.5 hours away or something.
Oh, that's not bad.
So yeah.
Cool.
So
yeah, I hear they added 200 acres this year.
Yeah,
so
I thought it was like 600 or something.
Oh, maybe they got more. That's awesome.
That's what I heard. So yeah, it should be fun. Still going to be a lot of people there, I'm sure. Don't know what the expected number is, but I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a great place too.
Hey, I want to jump. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Before we close, you can go ahead and ask whatever you needed to ask, Mike. Just for fun, a while back, Amanda and I did a show, and it was really short, and we gave away a few items. But I asked a question, or somebody asked a question, but for Mike Fuson, and I know you'll get a kick out of it. I think you were listening that night, you and your wife. We asked a silly question, Mike. What was it? About if you could dress up as any superhero while metal detecting, or be, what would that be, costume-wise? Being silly and fun. And I'm doing this for Mike. He's already laughing. Mike Fuson and chat. So mine was Wonder Woman, just so you know. And Mike was not live with us. He was in the chat, I think. So, Mike, go ahead and tell us yours, and then Eric, if you got one, if you want to share, you can tell us. Mike?
Yeah, no, I'm here.
So, you going to tell us your superhero costume?
I don't remember. Did I say anything?
No, you didn't. I want to know. What would you dress up as?
Oh, well, somebody else said this, so I'm not taking this. But at 6'3", 300 pounds, Sasquatch with a cape. I mean, I know that's not a superhero, but tell me that wouldn't be the funniest stuff ever. I mean, right? And now somebody else in the room said Sasquatch, and I'm like, oh my God, I'd make a great
beard.
Sasquatch.
That's why they said that.
Yeah. I would definitely do that. That would be a lot of fun.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
So, Eric, I know that's just stupid silly. We're just trying to do something silly for laughs. You have a favorite superhero that you would maybe dress up as while out metal detecting?
Yeah.
He's like, you guys put me on the spot. I thought we were talking metal detecting.
Yeah, superheroes. Let's see.
We are.
Superheroes. I'm trying to think. Let's see. I would go with something like retro, like Flash Jordan or something like that.
Oh, cool. You'd have to have a super fast metal detector.
Running around getting all the relics before Lori gets them. Beating her to them.
Like a super fast digger, like you could, you over there, dig, super fast recovery. I love it. That's funny.
Recovery speed.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, I know that was an off-the-wall question, but we're just silly sometimes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Mike,
well,
that
you got me thinking about superheroes anyways.
Yeah,
Oh,
like I was
gosh.
thinking of some trying to come up with
Sorry,
a better one. I
Mike.
don't know. Superman had X-ray vision, though, right? Like you'd be able to see the coins in the
Right.
ground,
So
the relics and coins.
you could see what. Yeah,
Probably.
I mean, you could look in there and say, "Oh, I'm not digging that. That's just huge trash," and then go to the next one. You wouldn't even need a detector, I don't guess.
I'm sure
That's interesting.
Lori's wanting you to pick your answer so she could study superheroes. Which one metal detecting
Yeah.
would beat that one out? Yeah.
I just got tickled at Amanda saying Catwoman. I couldn't help it. I just got this image in my brain. We're out there digging in a Catwoman costume.
I have an
okay.
idea, like a Halloween metal detecting party. Everybody gets disguised and
hey,
goes metal
awesome.
detecting like a group hunt.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, we'll start a new trend. I'm sorry to get off subject. It was just for fun. Mike, I interrupted whatever question you were about to ask.
Mike
ahead.
Fuson, he's got another one of them names I struggle with. He said we will need pictures for the October issue of people dressing up in costumes metal detecting. Mike, that is brilliant. If you can now, please submit your pictures from now until October to Dirt Digest Magazine. You can get a hold of Mike at I think it's Mike
Dirt Digest.
Fuson at
What is it?
dirtdigestmagazine.com or what's mine? I forget. I can look mine up real quick. I'm in my box all the time. I don't know. Mine is mhaer, Haer, at dirtdigestmagazine.com. We would love those pictures. That would be awesome. Let's make that happen. Mike, me and Mike talk quite often because of the magazine. I put it together each month. Him and Craig help out in several different ways, and they've got their jobs they do, but we collaborate on a regular basis. And Mike will call me and have 52 different ideas, and he's like, he's just all over the place. And I'm like, Mike, we need to talk about this, and you really got to reel Mike in. He's just all over the place, and it's not a bad thing. It's really a good thing, but it's so funny. But then he comes up with just this amazing idea, and I'm like, you're brilliant. You're crazy, but you're brilliant. And thank you for sharing. But yeah, so get those in. I would love that. That would make an awesome article.
That would make a fun issue. I tell you, Ambient Girl in the chat, Nancy, had mentioned that Metal Detecting NYC did a collab with a bunch of other detectorists, and they all dressed up for Halloween and went detecting in a park in New York.
Oh, that would be so cool.
I would love to see that. I bet that was funny and fun. I bet they got some crazy scares.
No creepy clown costumes.
Right.
Oh, man. Right. No clown costumes, and I can imagine zombie costumes walking around.
The zombie one would fit really good because we're walking pretty slow, and that would be pretty good.
Yeah. That was actually something we when we were at the Pound the Ground. The amount of people, the mass of people that just started like walking to swing in the field, and I was like, wow, that's what it looked like. It looked like this zombie apocalypse. All these people kind of like walking slowly, kind of wobbling around, and some of them are falling down, and it's like, wow, so funny.
That is funny.
Right? Oh man, that's hilarious. So Nancy said that he has that video of them detecting that part on his channel, so we will definitely have to check that out. And Mike's already saying, they have pictures, Nancy?
Yeah, right.
All right. I didn't mean to get it kind of off subject, but I thought that was fun. It was just funny.
If anybody listens in tomorrow, the next day, whatever, if you want to come into chat, which is still up, you can find a bunch of links that Nancy dropped to all their channel. She's dropping links right now to the video we were just talking about. We're dressed up in costumes detecting. Scroll down and you're going to find the links to you guys and your Facebook and what was the other one, Twitter or Instagram, I forget. But anyhow, all the links, and it'll just take you a minute, scroll down. They, links stick out pretty good. And you can find that. Now, I've got one last question and we might go into some more, but I did want to talk to Gypsy about something before I forget. I've got a great idea, Gypsy. So, Steph, we keep talking about getting you back to Ohio to find some large scents, and I want to be involved in that, being from Ohio. And I was just thinking, like, Steph likes you more and respects you more than me. You need to be working that for me. I am sure if you called and been like, Steph, I really want Mike to take me back to Ohio, she would probably make that happen. But if I do it on my own, I don't know. I don't think I can get it done. So, if I don't end up in Ohio with you metal detecting, I'm blaming you.
I'll work on that. There's several people in the chat as well. I know Deej has been working on trying to get us all in Ohio. And I had talked to you, too, a little bit about April was open, but I'll just mention it real quick. I haven't mentioned this publicly. I told Mike earlier, but Garrett was talking about sending me to Italy in April, but now I don't know if that's going to happen with the coronavirus going on. So who knows? Maybe we could figure out something in April because I know that's coming up quick. So maybe we can figure something out. I'll be talking to Steph, I guess.
Yeah. Well, hey, when you talk to Steph, please do not mention that when you told me that earlier, I told you I want you to get me some pictures.
You sure she's not listening right now?
She hasn't chimed in at all tonight, so please don't tell her that, I said to get me pictures of some beautiful Italian women while you're there, because that might hurt my chances of an Ohio trip.
Yeah, you might be in the doghouse again.
Yeah. Every time I do the show, and I get off, it's like, I wonder if I'm in trouble. Like, when I come out of the room, I can instantly see the look. Usually she just shakes her head and rolls her eyes and we're good. We're all good. I'll get serious for a second because you touched on it while you were, excuse me, at Pound the Ground. And it was something I wanted to ask. What about Revolutionary War up in Canada? Do you ever come across that, or War of 1812? I don't know how much Canada was used by the British during the War of 1812, but I believe some of it was. Do you ever find anything from those two wars?
Again, me personally, I haven't found a whole lot. I found one button a little while ago in southern Ontario. Which was a corpse button there with a little stack of cannonballs on it, a cuff button. Really nice little button, which I donated to the person that was hosting the hunt.
Oh,
Care.
Cool.
And around the St. Lawrence, there was some 1812 activity there. I know Matt, on one of our last hunts, he found a really nice button.
That's cool.
British, I think it was a British artillery button.
Wow.
So there is some, but again,
rare.
Pretty elusive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all the battlefield sites are pretty much historical sites. And again, it's the odd spot where you'll find something off the beaten path. I mean, there was a lot of soldiers walking around and a lot of stuff going on, but again, it's not something that I'm actively looking for, really. But I'd love to find some,
Mike Fuson, sorry to get off the subject. He said we need Mike in a Harley Quinn outfit. I was going to say if you can get Steph to agree to let me get to Ohio for a hunt, I would do it, but I can't do it. God, that's horrible. That would just be, people would get sick and there would be vomiting and I would lose friends and we just can't go there, Mike. That's all bad. Now, if any ladies, that is like my favorite. Oh, the movie's okay.
I saw that movie.
Harley Quinn. Oh my goodness, man. I mean, crazy and hot. Sign me up,
All right, Mike.
That's why I love Steph so much. She's definitely not listening because she would have chimed in. She probably would have come to walk through the door and beat on me right as we're doing the show live. So I think I'm safe. I think I'm safe. But that's all I've got. I know. Well, go ahead.
Nancy says you would have to shave your legs for that.
I would shave my legs to get to Ohio, but not put on a Harley Quinn costume. I can't.
Oh, man. Poor Eric. We really broke you in the night with our craziness, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It has been a lot of fun. One quick thing, or two quick things before we close here. Deej had mentioned that Dawn, that lives in Ohio, I think she just got back from Ohio. He's working on a hunt for all of us, so like a big group hunt. So that would be awesome. So there you go, Mike.
Yeah, that is awesome.
And he's out knocking doors and been researching. So that is awesome. And then Wayne says it'd be closer for you to just come to Colorado. He's got a big hunt in June. You can go to Watts on Facebook and find out more information about the rendezvous hunt that he puts on every year in Colorado. So that was all I wanted to mention. Anything else y'all would like to mention?
I have one thing. Lori, I want your wife to know, I don't know if she's still tuning in. When you do the show, if you'll still do it, I won't be on. Usually it's Amanda and Gypsy, and we'll make sure it's them too. And so if I scared you off too much, it'll just be the ladies. So you'll be safe. And so it should be good. Gypsy will be mad if I lost her a good guest, so I better apologize now. So, Eric, it's been really good, and we'd love to have you guys on again. Boy, I'd sure like to. Hopefully I'm sorry about that. Hopefully you have your a lot of those finds posted in your group, because I joined. If you guys accept me, it's no hard feelings if you don't accept me after tonight's show.
Of course we will.
But if you accept me, I'd love to come in and look at pictures and stuff. So, other than that...
I hope you enjoy it.
Oh, I'm sure I will. Absolutely. Other than that, I don't... Gypsy, do you have anything else? Eric, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good. I'm really really happy to be on the show tonight. It was awesome.
Oh, we're happy to have you.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sorry it was last minute, but we thank you, and we'll be in touch with Lori soon. I think we've got a few more guests lined up, and then I know Mike, who knows, Mike might want to have you on one of his Tuesday nights, or both of you maybe.
We would love that. I mean, any time I could hear you talk, listen to you talk about metal detecting often. You kept me very interested, for sure.
Oh, good. I wasn't too boring.
That sounded horrible. I'm
Not
sorry.
at all.
Well, we do have boring people now and then. I'm just going to put it out there. And you were not one. You were not one.
All right.
I hope
Very
that
good.
sounds better. Geez, I'm a hot mess. Please make sure that Lori understands I will not be doing that show that night she's on. She is safe. Tomorrow night, everybody, Dorian and I will have Corey Rind on, and he is a Civil War relic hunter. So tune in, and we will have a good time. Not as fun as tonight, probably, because Dorian keeps me on a tighter leash. I blame you, Gypsy, for letting me get so out of control.
I get all the blame.
I'm just kidding. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it and have a good night.
Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you all. You
Bye.
all have a good night. Thanks,
Good night,
Eric.
everybody.
Bye.
Good night.